Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, we made it. We made it. Sorry, we're a few minutes late. Like normal, there's always some technical difficulties, so we were just working out the kinks, and we're ready to roll with you guys. But thank you for joining us for Unlock the Secret Beauty of Your Body, a free Google Hangout talking about why would you even care about unlocking the secret beauty of your body, and what does that even mean? And so I'm here with Marizette Silva and Sulema Trevino, and we are just here to have a good time and possibly clear some limitations around what beauty is for you and why you would even have any interest in being more beautiful you out in the world. So, Marizette, say hello.
Hello, beautifuls. How are you? I'm so happy to be with you guys. Welcome to the planet of beauties.
Fun. And Sulema, your turn. Say hi.
Hi, gorgeous. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited about this telecall and app to find out what we can unlock, change, or transform for all of us.
Yes. And just so you guys know, Sulema is actually in an airport, so she's business on the go. That's how we roll around here. But so the whole concept, Sulema, do you want to introduce why we're even talking about this and kind of give us the background on where we kind of came together and how that worked?
Sure. Well, I was in Costa Rica recently.
Do you have your iPad open too, Sulema?
Yeah, I'm going to shut off that.
Okay. You get Sulema twice.
Echo.
Yeah. All right. So I was in Costa Rica recently, and I met Marizette, and I met Sadie there. And I saw Marizette show up as this beautiful butterfly and being herself. And she was quite fun and sexual and beautiful, like not just physically, but including her energy. And then the next day, I saw her show up as a totally different person. I noticed that she had shut down, dressed differently, and it was just not her. And so I approached her, I talked to her, and I asked her about it, and she said that she felt like certain judgments, or she felt like she couldn't be herself. And I thought, you know, above all things, that is something criminal that we do to ourselves, where we shut ourselves down based on the judgments that we perceive or receive from others. And I think that others at times don't even know that they're sending these judgments out. I think sometimes it's our own judgments of ourselves. And what would it take to change all of this? And what would it take to not shut ourselves down when and if we perceive judgments from others?
Yeah. And so will you talk also a little bit about what you guys talked about going to class that morning and how that changed things for Marizette? Marizette, what was that like for you, just realizing what was going on?
I was aware of a lot of judgments, and I started to shrinking, like energetically, and it was not the first time. Many years ago I was model, and I had the same energy around me, and I started questioning about that. What is that? What choice do I have available that I've never considered? And what choice do I have available with my body that I've never considered? Then Sulema and we get together, and she asked me, "Hey, what's happening? Who are you? Where you been?" And I start like, "Oh, I don't feel well." And she was like, "But you are wearing like a man." I was like having boots and like very trying to hide my potency, the being that I am, not only my body but my energy. And she was like, "Oh, let's go to the room and let's change and let's choose something else." And it was such a contribution to my world. And since then, I started to acknowledging that judgment is something, it's a lie that we can get rid of it, you know, and we can choose other things. There are a lot of things available. And I've been hiding this awareness from myself my whole life. And since I started playing with access tools, I started acknowledging that this can be a contribution to my world, to other women's world, or other people's world. And it's such a liberation and such a freedom. And I'm so grateful.
So Sulema or Marizette, one of you guys want to talk a little bit more about why would we even care about being the beauty that we are out in the world and letting that secret place where we're hiding the things that are beautiful about us? Why would we even want to change that?
I believe that it's mailing because we want to fit in people's world. We want to be accepted. And we start to not be in allowance of this energy, that we are in judgment of ourselves, in judgment of what are we bringing to the world.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sulema, will you talk a little bit about what's the value in actually starting to unleash the beauty that's hidden in your body out into the world?
You know, the value is yourself, is each and every one of us, and the gift that we can be.
I'm going to open.
And such a way as a flower. Like when you look at a beautiful flower, is that a gift to yourself? Is that a gift to the planet? Is that a gift to everyone? And if you don't acknowledge the beauty of a flower, then is it a gift? And how many of us are not acknowledging the beauty of ourselves? And how many of us, you know, like, can we even relate to the word beauty? I've been in the beauty business for 20 years, helping women, you know, feel and look more beautiful. And I think, you know, a very small percentage of women or people perceive themselves as beautiful, or would even acknowledge themselves as beautiful. So there's this whole disconnection to this word itself. There's a whole attraction and avoidance to this word. And so I'd just like to talk more about it in depth.
Yeah, and I can certainly perceive all the weird energy that comes up for everybody around the word beauty. And it's like there's this interesting thing that we do where we almost feel like we have to it's like an expectation that we dumb down anything that's beautiful about ourselves unless someone else recognizes it, and then you're allowed to be it. You can't just walk around just enjoying yourself and feeling beautiful in the world. And if you do, there is a ton of judgment that comes at you. Mm-hmm. So the three of us actually are, we met at the Access Consciousness Facilitator class in Costa Rica this year. So that's the body of work that the tools that we're going to be using today and then in the future come from. And so one of the things that we do in Access is what we call the clearing statement, which basically is this, this whole set of words that represent an energy that almost sucks the charge out of whatever comes up for you in your body or in your awareness when we talk about certain things. So in this case, we're talking about beauty. Everywhere you are feeling all this interesting stuff come up around the word beauty and what comes up for you around being willing to be beautiful, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate that? And all we're asking is for the energy to kind of get sucked out so that we can take the top layer off and go down a little deeper to what's below that. So everything that's bringing up for you up until this point, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it? Yeah. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So if you are getting caught up on the words, you need to know what that means. You can actually go to the website theclearingstatement.com, and that gives you a good explanation of it. For the sake of the call, if you just want to roll with it, you can look that up later. All it does is kind of peel that top layer off so we can keep going a little bit deeper and start to look at some of these things underneath what is going on for us and all the points of view we've taken on that are not allowing us to actually look at what is under this and actually acknowledge it. And like Sulema said, if you are sort of this flower out in the world and you are not willing to look at the beauty that you can be and the contribution that can be to the world, then in many ways that's robbing the world of the beauty that you could be contributing. And it's not like everything is it's not like there's a certain external value on beauty or being beautiful. It's not an external standard that we're talking about today. What we're talking about is, what are the things about you that's a contribution that if you'd be willing to be it would be more expansive in your life and more expansive in the world? Not just the stereotype, the magazines, the, you know, the fashion, whatever it may be. So, so we're actually looking to get to a much deeper place with beauty about this, rather than just like skincare, hair care, fashion, those kinds of things. We're actually looking at some of the deeper things about what beauty is. And so, so Marizette is actually a yoga teacher, and part of what gave her this awareness is she has this wonderful body that is that has all this energy of beauty that loves to express in the world. And she, what they were explaining earlier is how she kind of started to dumb that down for filtering out the judgment of other people. And so one of the things Marizette brings to the table in this conversation of the three of us is this body knowing of this contribution of the beauty that it can be out in the world. And so Marizette was going to talk to us a little bit about some of the ways that we can actually get in touch with the energy of the beauty that we hold in our bodies. She has some yoga tools, some pranayama tools to actually kind of tap us into that. So she's going to give us a little taster of it. So Marizette, do you want to talk to us about the breath work?
Absolutely. Sadie, the most important thing with our bodies is acknowledge that this is a magic place for us to be, and you must honor this place and be committed to talk and to be in communion with our bodies. Many people have the relationship that the body is like something that's a charge, something that's very difficult to bring to the world. And what if you could create the body that you would like to have, not only physically but energetically? Because a body that is beautiful is not only because it's beautiful, because sometimes you meet some women that is perfectly beautiful, but they don't have that energy behind it. So I have a tool that I'm going to share with you very soon. There are 5 movements to awake the beauty of your body that I do every morning. It takes 8 minutes. It's very simple. We're going to send the record of this practice for you in the next classes, and it's very simple because it includes the body, the energy, the emotions, the present moment, because beauty is all about presence. And what if you could honor and get rid of the judgment, the expectations, the limitations, the rejections you have locked in your body that does not allow you to be the great potence of the beauty your body is. As you told, Sadie, there is nothing to do with the magazines, the pattern that we have of beauty, of perfection. Perfection is a lie that we bought. And how can we change this and create this embodiment to be in the world, to be a contribution, and not like something that is a charge, something that's not allowed to be here. That was the sensation that I had, you know, in Costa Rica, with the experience, like, oh my God, I don't fit here. And how can I do, you know?
Yeah, and I'll just actually add to that, because when Marizette comes in the room, she embodies beauty and sexiness and sexualness, and there's a difference there. And sexiness is more like kind of the ideas we have about what sexual is approved of and what's not approved of. But sexualness is actually quite a bit beyond that. It's a much more expansive energy. And when Marizette walks around, she just exudes this enjoyment of being in her body, and it's almost like this luscious energy that just draws you in. And even though she actually looks beautiful and she looks what many would probably define as perfect, it's actually the willingness to enjoy it and to actually have it and enjoy it and allow it to kind of just flow out of her. And when Marizette was willing to step into that, and when we were in Costa Rica, and actually walk around just exuding that and being that, most of us think that by doing that we're going to just receive a ton of judgment, and maybe that's true to some extent, but actually what it did instead was it invited other people to be aware of being more in their bodies and being more in that place of enjoying actually what it feels like, the softness of your clothes on your skin, or in that case, you know, we were in a tropical place, so the humidity and the sun and all these wonderful things that are such a beautiful part of actually being in a body. So it was really interesting that when we think that we should dumb that down, but when we actually are willing to fully be it and step out into it, it is a huge invitation for other people to choose that for themselves too, and to be aware of how choosing that for themselves actually creates something greater for all of us. So so Marizette, did you want to walk us through just like 1 minute of the breathwork exercise?
Yes. Let's come up. Okay, can you see me?
I can.
Okay, but okay. So it's so simple. I will do it very fast. You just let me see. Okay, I'll move this here. Okay, I'll take this off. I'll bring some music. Put some music. It's going to be okay. Some Brazilian music. So choose every morning. You gotta choose a music that gives you energy, joy. You know, because beauty is all about joy of living, orgasmic life. Can you see me? Is that good? Can you see me?
I can see you. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why the music doesn't not work. So the music is not working. Okay, let's bring your feet hip apart. Okay, can you see me?
Yep, we can see you.
Okay. So you're gonna make a circle with your pelvis, your hips to the right 100 times. Then bring your wrist out to outside 50 times. Let me choose some music because with the music is much more fun. Okay, let's go. Doesn't work either. So 100 times to the right, 50 times with to the outside, okay? Then 100 times to the left. Dance the wrist inside 50 times. This is the second movement. Then the third movement, you're gonna bring your elbows to the line of your shoulders, and you're going to open your arms, inhaling. Exhale, put your hands back to open your heart, okay? This is the third movement. I'm going to do this very fast, then you're gonna send a beautiful video for you. The fourth movement will be opening your wings 10 times. This is to develop the lightness. And this with music is much better. This is the fourth movement. And the fifth movement, you're going to walk like the girl from Ipanema, like this. Like smiling with your hips, okay? Dun, 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 dun. Okay, that's it. Without music, it's not the same.
I love it. I can actually feel my body getting happy just watching you do that. So that's a perfect example of how, you know.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Like,
That's awesome.
Sometimes I do it in the toilet of the plane, you know, when I want to boost my energy. this is so fun. Birds love it.
Yes.
That was fun. Thank you. What else is possible, Marizette?
So one of the things that that when we talked about playing with this topic of beauty, we realized that there's so many points of view about the word beauty, about what that means for you, about what you have had to hide from yourself and bury it deep in your body. In some ways, places that you may not even be aware of anymore. And so we wanted to actually look at the energy of this and maybe just talk about it a little bit. So we hadn't actually prepared this ahead of time, but I'm going to ask you ladies, like, what does beauty mean to you? Sulema, do you want to go first?
Jealousy.
Jealousy. So everything that is, can we destroy it and create it?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, schwartz, boys, and beyonds. Marizette, what is beauty to you?
Beauty?
Yes.
Like judgment?
Mm-hmm.
It's something that it can be something dangerous.
Dangerous. Cool. Everything that is, can we destroy it and create it?
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, schwartz, boys, and beyonds. So, and the reason we're asking these questions is because when you have these definitions or these places that you have these points of view about what that means, you're sort of stuck creating that as the only option. So looking at the energy of some of this and then it, you know, in this case running the clearing statement starts to unlock that so we can actually get to something else. So, and another interesting question that we get to next is actually tapping into the energy. If everybody expands their awareness, and you don't have to know what that means or how to do it, just acknowledge that you're being the greatness that you be and actually be aware of what comes up in your body and in your awareness as they ask these questions. But the next one I want to ask is, what do you mean to beauty? Sulema?
Like a facilitator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that. It's like you're sort of not making an obligation, but you're sort of like the helper, sort of the on a mission or something. Yeah. So everything that is, you want to destroy and create it.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Marizette, what do you mean to beauty?
What do I mean to beauty?
Yeah.
That's a great question. For me, it's like something that creates possibilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So everything that is, we destroy and create it.
Yeah.
Right, wrong, give it all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So the next question is really interesting one to ask, and if you've never heard the tools of access consciousness before, it's going to sound super bizarre, but actually the question is, what does sex with beauty mean to you? And really what that means is the energy of sex is actually the energy of receiving, and so when we ask what does sex with beauty mean to you, it actually means what does receiving beauty mean to you in your world and your life. So Sulema, what does sex with beauty mean to you?
Fun.
Fun? Awesome. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, what is the answer? And Marizette, what does sex with beauty mean to you?
Playfulness.
Playfulness. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And then the last question is, what does sex with you mean to beauty? So what does the receiving of you mean to the energy of beauty? And so Sulema, what is that? What comes up for you?
Can you ask me again?
Yes. What does sex with you mean to beauty?
I guess it's like a secret hiding place is what comes up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my secret hiding place.
Cool. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And Marizette, what does sex with beauty mean to, or sex with you mean to beauty?
Can you explain better the question?
Yeah, so it's asking you to be aware of the energy that comes up for you when you look at what is beauty to you, and when that energy can receive from you, what does that create?
It creates more energy.
Cool. So, and this is just like the top layer. We just went one round in this, but there's so many layers to this. I mean, these are the kinds of points of view we've taken on and we've locked in our bodies from the time we're very, very small, whether you're a man or a woman. You know, if you were a cute little kid, there was all this projection of you being cute and what mattered about you being cute, and how we value certain things over other things. And if you're reinforced for being, you know, a cute little boy or a cute little girl, or having these features or not having these features, then you emphasize certain things and you dumb down other things, and then it's like these it's almost like these graphs come throughout your life where you value other things about yourself and you depress certain areas so that those energies aren't coming forth as much. And what if we didn't have to suppress or depress any parts of ourselves? And what we're looking at with the energy of this call is actually, what would it be like if we could all bring forth all the things that we've suppressed about ourselves? And that's what we kind of mean by beauty, is what's right about you, and what are the things you've judged yourself for that could actually be a contribution to other people and the planet and, you know, everyone at large. It doesn't have to mean something that we would normally attribute to beauty, like appearance or something like you would see in a magazine. So that's an energy that we're going to delve a lot deeper into in the upcoming class that we're going to facilitate together. But one of the things we also wanted to discuss a little bit, Marizette, would you talk to us a little bit more about the energetic power and potency of beauty in the body?
Yeah, the energetic power is it's something that is hidden, people don't acknowledge. Sometimes it becomes the secret part that people hide from themselves, creating validation, creating judgments. And what if this energetic part of were unlocked? How many possibilities it would create in your life, in your world, in the planet, if you could just release this energy. And I would like to share one of the practices that Dane shared with us in the Magic of Bodies, one class that I did. That's every time, starting now, like taking 1 hour, half an hour, maybe 3 times a week, do something that involves your body, include your body, to include your body in your life. And get your body moving at three times a week for half an hour. Something, yoga, workout, walk, something. Dance is so magic. Your body needs to move. You need to move, you know, because when you move, the energy flows. And do something that's fun for you, that works for you, and the energy will become more empowerment for you.
Yeah. So how does actually what you were talking about with movement and actually allowing the energy to flow within our bodies, how does that actually create, what does that have to do with beauty? Sulema, what is your interpretation of, like, because Sulema has been in the beauty industry for years and years. Would you talk to us a little bit about some of the things you've noticed that people do around their own beauty and what they judge themselves for, and how that actually stifles the potency that they have with their bodies and them being here?
Well, for a majority of people, it just seems like it's something outside of themselves, like it's not something that they claim or own at all. Beauty is outside of oneself, not ourselves. So what is that? Yeah, we're all attracted to beauty. We want to go to beautiful places. When we see someone that's beautiful, a beautiful child, beautiful anything, you know, nature that's beautiful, we're so attracted to it. So is it like we're not allowing ourselves to be attracted to ourselves? Is it our way of like creating separation and through that not receiving our own beauty, whatever our beauty is? Like my beauty is not the same as Marizette's or the same as yours, Sadie, yet do we each have our own unique beauty? And do you have your own unique beauty that you're not willing or haven't even given yourself a chance to claim, own, or acknowledge?
Yeah. Would you, when we were having our conversations leading up to talking about this with you guys that are watching, one of the things that we talked about, Sulema talked about the energy of flirtation, and how when we're talking about beauty, I just want to reiterate, we're not talking about features necessarily, or hairstyle, or there's such a energy beyond what we've decided is beauty is. And so will you talk about the ways you've seen beauty expressed that don't necessarily have to do with the judgments of the body and the judgments of appearance?
Yes, I've seen the most plain, ordinary looking people, not magazine type beauty, made up beauty, or fashion type beauty, or hair, type beauty. I've seen people, like, everyone knows when they tap into their flirt mode. Everyone on the planet has flirted at one point or another with someone. And it's that moment when you give yourself permission to flirt that you're beginning to tap into that beauty. And it's just the cutest, most adorable, like the prettiest thing to me is when that person finds that moment when they begin to flirt. And, where is that in ourselves? Where is that in you? We all have it. So that's to me kind of where, like, beauty begins to unleash itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love that idea of talking about the energy of flirtation, because it really is. Will you continue on a little bit more, Sulema, because you talked about being willing to be seen, and actually how that is acknowledging the beauty that you be.
It's also, I think, connected to sex and copulation a little bit, and orgasm, because, like, who on the planet, including our mothers and grandmothers and grandfathers, has not had sex? There aren't many asexual people on the planet, right? So when you're about to go there, or when you're setting up that moment of attraction to another being, where you're allowing yourself to perhaps flirt with the idea of possibly having sex with somebody. Another area where you begin to unleash your beauty. And what if it didn't have to be unleashed? What if it could always be of you? What if it didn't have to be when you flirted or when you were about to have sex with somebody, and only with the people that you have sex with? What if you could share that fun, orgasmic, light energy with all beings at all times? Would you make more money? Would you have more fun? Would you, be as tired at the end of the day? Would you just enjoy life more altogether?
I love it.
Yeah.
Marizette, did you have something to add?
Just giving you a different way of being in this world. Like, we need to be aware of the possibilities rather than the impossibilities of your body. It's because sex, as we spoke before, sex is the energy of receiving, And what choice do I have available with my body to receive more that I never considered? It's something that we should be asking more. Because when we tap into this space of flirting or making sex, women especially, I have many clients that have these kind of insecurities and judgments about themselves, and they start becoming less than they really are. What if you could step in the greatness of your being, including your body, and playing with this energy, with joyfulness, and dancing with the energy? That's an invitation.
Yeah, well, and that's really, to me, what the energy of flirtation is actually acknowledging that you're being seen, not just like physically that someone's looking at your face or whatever, or your body, but actually the energy that comes forth when you are flirting with someone is actually is going beyond just what you see. It may be that what you see is what's exciting you, or in some ways, but actually you're tapping into something that's beyond that first layer in many ways, and it's like seeing the being. And think about how much people come alive when someone flirts with them, even if it's just a smile and like that lingering look that you realize, like, someone's seeing me that's beyond just looking, you know, at the shell on the outside. It's like igniting that acknowledgement of the being that's beyond just what we're made up of physically. And then it's interesting how we filter that through what the sensation that we get with the physical body. So I think that's such a fun energy, and one that we could potentially explore to a much greater extent, and actually ignite that energy of acknowledging you. What if you could flirt with you in every interaction you have with someone else all day, so that you seeing you could actually be that generative, yummy contribution to others seeing themselves too, and being willing to be more present. Because how much of what we present to other people during the day is actually a dumbed down version of the energy that we actually are. It's, you know, it's what we've decided is okay to present, it's what we've approved of, it's what we think is appropriate in certain circumstances. And what if we could actually allow more of the true being that we are to be flowing all the time? And it's actually kind of interesting to me that we don't do that more, because look at our planet. We're all holding back. We're all staying in these little shells. And what if we didn't have to do that? So, I mean, it's such an interesting conversation. What are some of the places in your guys' lives where when you've noticed something change when you were willing to come out of your shell and be that flirtatious, engaging energy in the world? Sulema?
I mean, I like the words that you used: excited, alive, acknowledge, ignite. I mean, what if beauty is connected to so much more than we've ever imagined? I mean, it's kind of like an explosion, like that blossom meme. So if we're holding back and dumbing ourselves down, imagine a flower that never blossomed. That's who you be when you're not willing to acknowledge that beauty. There's so much more attached to this word. And what would it take for us to crush the judgments that are connected to it and facilitate or assist whoever's willing to embrace their own unique, special kind of beauty, so that they can ignite, be alive, have more fun, and see what else is possible.
I love it. Marizette?
For me, nature is a space that I grab a lot of energy. You know, since I was a little child, I used to climb trees, and it's a space for me to boost my energy and to feel more alive, more connected with my body, and the kindness, you know, to be in contact with my body, to create this intimacy. It's so important to us, and to be always asking, buddy, what do you want to do? Buddy, what do you want to eat? Buddy, what do you want to wear? Those are tools of access consciousness that are helping me a lot, you know, to be in this communion with my body. And mimetizing the nature, because the nature has such a wonderful expansion, can create so much expansion in our world, and for me, it's the best so far.
Yeah. One of the things I've actually noticed about the energy of beauty in the world, and the energy of the willingness to be more, I guess, and more generous with the beauty that you be, because it's in many ways stingy when we hold it all to ourselves and we're not willing to share that energy that is kind of hidden inside. But one of the things that I notice comes up for a lot of people that I've talked to is this idea that there's something unsafe about being beautiful. There's something unsafe, like I'm gonna get, you know, unwanted attention, or I'm gonna get, you know, on the far end, you know, raped, or some of those things that have been sort of sold to us as the danger of being that energy out in the world. So Sulema, will you talk a little bit about why that actually isn't what we create when we're willing to be more open with the energy, and how actually receiving all energy actually allows us to be aware so that we can be more, not necessarily safe, but we can be more aware of when there is something that is truly dangerous. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, when you're aware and you allow your senses to be present, you won't get on the airplane that's going to crash. You'll make yourself late. You won't have sex with the person that has herpes. Your body will tell you not to. I mean, so sometimes sensing things isn't so fun because people can be heavy or judgmental. But imagine if you didn't have your knowing and you didn't follow what you sense, then you could get the disease, then you can get into the on the wrong plane. So I think that if people could learn some more of these tools that we have to share, and then they can heighten their level of awareness and their senses, and they would learn, as we have, to allow those heavy sensations, the ones that we usually go into resistance mode for, which ends up draining us. We could learn how to flow that energy through us and not be impacted by it.
Yeah.
Not get sick by it, not get drained by it. So that's really why we're, offering this telecall to share about beauty, about bodies, about fun, and so much more that's connected to this area that seems like it's under an umbrella of some weird place that we deny, that we're connected to, but there's really so much more that we're going to talk about and have fun with.
I love it. Marizette, you seem to, I mean, more than anybody I've ever known in my whole life, you seem to have this ability to actually be present with the energy of your body and be that flirtatious, yummy invitation of energy. What is that like for you, and has it always been that way, or is there been something that you've discovered that you're now looking to share with others?
It's something that's natural. I acknowledge that it's something juicy, that's fun, and it has always been. I always chose to find that it was something wrong, a wrongness, like. When I was a little child, a dog tried to rape me, and I felt so embarrassed, and it was so traumatic for me. And I always tried to hide this, and then I realized that it's part of my nature, and it's nature, and there's something. It's not wrong. It's something that can be a contribution for other women to step to this place, and dancing, something that always helped me. I did one song a day and keeps everything that doesn't allow us to be the greatness of us to be away. And it's amazing how when you can listen to the language of your body, because the body talks energetically. We created this communication, and yoga is definitely a tool for me to see where my body wants to be nurtured and when I need to breathe more. And so it's something that helps me a lot daily in the dancing. It's something that it's natural. Yeah.
So one of the things, when Marizette and I were talking about playing with the energy of this whole beauty topic and stuff, she actually, the little, body movement thing she did at the beginning of the call, she actually walked me through that. And I was home in my house by myself, and I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so silly right now. But actually, yeah. But I noticed actually when you were doing that, it's just an 8-minute exercise, and it's actually going to be part of the home play that we have for this 4-week teleseries that we have coming up about unlocking some of these areas in our lives, not just our whole lives, but our bodies, everything about our world gets kinked up and shut down when we don't allow the beauty that we truly be. And the reason that we say be in Access, I've had people ask me about this. Why do you say be instead of are? That's not grammatically correct. It's because it's a space of being that is greater than just the word are. It just doesn't energetically match, and so it's what you actually embody all the time. And so when we're actually willing to be that energy that we always be, and take off sort of the blinders and the barriers to it and let it flow, it can actually create a lot of change in our world. And so I wanted to talk about just real quickly that little, the body movement and breath work exercise. And Marizette was talking about making the smiley faces with your hips and turning your head side to side. And I was surprised how silly I felt doing it, but actually I noticed that it unlocked so much stuff, and how actually my lower back had been really tight, and I wasn't even aware of it. And Marizette invited me to acknowledge, like, is that some sexualness energy that you shut down? Is that one of the places you lock it down and hold it down? And so it's one of the many things that we're going to cover is actually looking at unlocking some of the places in your body where you've hidden some of this beauty, hidden some of this sexualness energy, hidden some of this contribution that is you, that is dying to come forth. And I say dying to come forth because honestly, when we are hiding it, it starts to die away. And so what would it be like if we could actually shed a little light in those places, whether it be, kinked up places in your body, for example, like my low back, or in general, the places that we have taken on somebody else's point of view about, whether we're allowed to smile at that person, or, I can think of so many specific instances where I perceived a judgment coming at me like a dagger because I was, because I smiled at someone, or, or I, whatever it may be, I talked to someone a little too long, or how much have we shut down our ability to actually be in communion with other beings and other bodies because of all those places and spaces that we have locked away or put up a barrier to the judgments that have been projected at us. So, so Sulema started to allude to this teleseries that we have coming up. It's starting October 12th. It's going to be 4 consecutive Mondays at the same time, 10 a.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Middle European time, and there'll be a time and date so you can find out in between. But this is just the 3 of us kind of collaborating on this fun topic that is actually can be a little bit wonky for us sometimes, and looking at how many layers can we take off so that we can actually all be the invitation to be more of ourselves in the world, and what actually could that contribute to you, your body, and your life, your money flows, everything else. So Sulema, will you talk a little bit about what you see this series being, and what you are looking to invite people to?
Well, that just kind of brought tears to my eyes. Themselves, it's like, it's not something outside that we see everywhere outside of ourselves, although we do see it outside of ourselves. It's seeing that lostness in ourselves, like truly looking at ourselves. I remember one time I worked with this celebrity, and he was Mr. David, and like the statue of David incarnated. His body was perfect according to measurement. Like literally, he would measure his neck to his waist, to his biceps, to his calves. I mean, it was the picture of perfection according to this reality and a certain type of bodybuilding type aesthetic. And I did Access. I was doing Access with him and using these tools. And what came to me was to have him look at himself in the mirror. And it was so hard for him to look at himself, his eyes in the mirror. He would look at his body. That was easy because that's something he had mastered. But he never really looked at himself. And it was so hard for him to connect. This beautiful man, this successful celebrity. And so it's more of that, having more of that, knowing ourselves, looking at ourselves, which will give us so much more of ourselves, and embracing that beauty within.
Yeah. And actually being willing to, what we're planning to do is this brings up an odd energy for almost everyone. This whole idea of looking at yourself and seeing you, whether it be your body and the places you judge your body, whether you judge them in a positive way or judge them in a negative way. And also, like Sulema was saying, looking at you, the being, and looking into your own eyes, and actually being willing to acknowledge everything that that brings up. And how everywhere, if that's uncomfortable for you at all, that's a great thing, because that's an indication that there's something in the way of you seeing you and you being willing to be you. Because if you can't even see you, then how can you choose it and how can you be it if you're blocking yourself from acknowledging it? And so, yes, just thank you for that. Marizette, what is some of the things that you are excited about this call for?
I'm excited about to discover the language of your body, you know, for us to figure out what does your body want to tell you. It's such a wonderful, so magic when we start to create this communication, this dialogue with our bodies, and what does our body requires energetically, and what is it demanding. And for us to perceive this and embody this amazing gift that we have. And I would like to talk about the myth of the perfect body. How many judgments we have about our bodies, and how can we change and choose more for ourselves, for us to create a new reality with our bodies, to be more playful and be happier in our bodies.
Yeah, and what I see too is it's not even about maybe there are things that you'd like to change about your body, but in many ways it's also about being in communion with the body you currently have before it changes, just exactly how it is and what's right about that. And if you could actually be that vulnerable with yourself to acknowledge what's right about what your body is and the contribution it is being and how it shows up every day and what it tells you every day. If it creates pain, what is that telling you? And is that actually a contribution to your awareness? And where are the places that we could open up that dialogue and that line of communication with your body as you are, exactly how you are now? And see the beauty in it. Marizette has this phenomenally gorgeous body, and I'm sure we're going to all enjoy watching her and doing our little exercise with her on those 8 minutes. But it's not just about the fact that she has this beautiful body. It's about the fact that we could enjoy our bodies that way too, and find beauty in expression, in expressing the beauty that is to us and to the world, no matter where you are or what that is for you. So, Sulema, was there something else you wanted to say?
Yeah, as Marizette was talking, and then you kind of used the word. That's what was coming to me. Was like a communion with our being and our body is what it's gonna take more of to embrace that beauty that we truly be.
Yeah. And how fun is that? So actually, we at this would like to invite any of you who are interested in having more of this in your life and being willing to at least start walking down that road that may lead you in the direction of having more of it. It doesn't mean that I mean, ideally we'd love to say, hey, we're going to all end up like Marizette, where we just have these phenomenally gorgeous bodies and we can just be that beauty that we are out in the world and just have it all the time. That may be something that occurs, and it may just be starting to unfold and unwind all these stuck places within ourselves and our bodies that keep us from actually being more present, being more ourselves, being more that expression of that beautiful flower that is still in a bud stage, that if we would start to let those layers peel back, we can start to reveal some of that out into the world and be not just be the contribution, but actually contribution is the simultaneity of gifting and receiving. So actually, how much by letting ourselves shine out, we also receive that sunlight on our skin. We also receive the, whether it even be looks or glances or, money, whatever it may be that we're limiting receiving in our lives because we are shutting these places down. What can change by actually acknowledging some of these things? And so under here, under my name here, is the website that you can go to if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about the call series. It starts on October 12th. It's 4 consecutive Mondays. We'll probably end up doing a bonus call just because I'm sure we'll want to keep going a little bit farther. But we invite you to come on board with us. Come dig into these places where not very many of us have been willing to go, and is it time that we start to change some of these things? It's an invitation to finally, we've been doing clearings, we've been, looking at areas of our lives that we'd like to change, and what if the area that we've not been willing to look is the place that would give us the most freedom? And there is so much judgment around appearances and looks and beauty, and what if we actually could be more open with those things in the world, and what could that create for us? So so we invite you to come check it out, imperfectbrilliance.com/shop.html. That's the landing page. We also have an Eventbrite link that is listed both on the page, and you can pay by PayPal, or you can pay by credit card if you follow the Eventbrite link. But in this series, what we're hoping to do is actually, we've talked a little bit about the actual, what we're going to talk about. The logistical part of it is there'll be an hour-long call over the phone. You can also Skype in. Marizette is going to make a video of her energetic body opening stuff for us, which is going to be so fun. And so that will be part of the home play, is actually getting in touch with your body, being willing to move with your body and breathe with your body. And I can perceive your body is already just what that creates. It's actually just a flowing of energy. And what even could just that create? I mean, that in itself is awesome, I think, already. But in addition to that, doing that video and actually getting in touch with our bodies, we'll also have some additional home play, and it'll be based on things that come up for us on the call. And maybe some of it is, like Sulema was saying, looking at you in the mirror, connecting and actually looking in your own eyes, or looking at your body, and being willing to look at and acknowledge the places that you judge yourself, whether that's positive or negative. What points of view do you have in place, and how, by getting rid of the charge of energy we have around that, can we actually be more fully us and more fully present as who we are? We'll also have a private Facebook group page where we can connect with each other even in the off times and ask questions, or even just acknowledge the changes that come up, because it's amazing the things that can start to unravel in your universe. And sometimes you just need to say, hey, this happened today and I couldn't believe it, and to get that acknowledgement, and to actually and to acknowledge yourself in many ways. So that's a nice little extra bonus of community that we create within the call and the people on the call, so we can be walking down this uncomfortable road together. Because let's be honest, it's not always the most comfortable thing, but is it, like I said before, is now the time? Are we actually ready to start looking at the places that we've been hiding from and avoiding? And so, so in addition to just those other things, we'll have audio recordings of every single call for you guys, and we'll also take all of the clearing statements that we do and record them on a separate audio file, so it's just the clearings. You can listen to them at night. You can listen to them really low in the background at home or at work or in your car, so that can be something that you're constantly peeling the layers off, because it isn't just a one-time deal. It's, we're going to want to revisit some of these energies over and over until we really get clear on them. So Sulema or Marizette, was there anything else either of you wanted to add about what the actual call is going to be about, and what we're going to include in that?
Come to play with us.
Yay!
So fun.
I mean, I of course have plenty of, this reality beauty tips with makeup and stuff like that, if anybody's interested. So we may or may not get into things like that as well.
Yeah, but who couldn't use it? Because I've always had this big point of view about not wanting to use some of the sort of this reality things to enhance what maybe is kind of mediocre, and I could make it a lot better. And I've had a point of view about actually being willing to do that. But what if we were? What if we could let go of those points of view? And I'm sure looking forward to some of those tips and things, because it really is fun to actually, enhance what's right about you, so that you can, use it to your advantage and have a bigger effect and feel more of that potency of being that beauty out in the world. I mean, who hasn't gone to, an event where you dressed up, or you got in a fancy dress, or you looked really nice and you put yourself together, and the energy of feeling that beauty that you be, that you don't normally allow to come forth, to be out in the world, what does that create? And so, Sulema, I'm sure excited. I am hoping that maybe you will. I mean, we'll definitely make some time for that, because it's not to say that we are only going to look at body stuff, or only going to look at, you know, beauty from an energetic space. It's the big picture. It's the whole thing. So.
How does it get any better than this?
Yes.
How does
Yes.
it?
All right. So
what if you always felt like $1,000,000?
Yeah. And if you felt like $1,000,000 all the time, how much more millions of bucks could come your way if you were willing to be the energy of that? So, any last minute things anybody wants to say?
Thank you so much for everybody that was with us.
All right.
Soon.
Yes, you can.
I can't wait to have more fun.
So you can find us once again, imperfectbrilliance.com/shop.html. That's the landing page, just to be able to track down the call series, be able to find out the details, and to go ahead and pay for it. You can also find us on our Facebook event page, probably the way many of you found us here, and then we will have a live replay, or a replay of this live call for you guys if you're watching this in the future. You can share it around if you know anybody else who might be interested. We invite anybody who wants to play to come on board if you're willing to step up into a different space of being with the beauty that you be. So thank you guys. Thank you, Marizette and Sulema, for joining us from an airport in Spain.
Thank you, ladies.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.